Hello, hello, hello. I was half expecting you to tell me that the recording was in progress. We're making, we're
It's
making
been a while. I figured I'd give you a break.
progress. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like the Auntie Donna sketch, where it's like the guy who interrupts everybody during roll call, and he's like doesn't get interrupted. Maybe he's not here, and at the very end he gets interrupted. But welcome back. We are back at the proverbial table with Ivana.
Ivana.
Yeah. And we are here to do Rebecca's one shot, finally getting to peer into the mind and history of Rebecca. So that's going to be interesting. Got a really jam packed kind of a night ahead. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the season two questions. We technically, since this is player, not okay. Sorry, I have questions for first time players or like people's first negative one shots and for people's second negative one shots, so they're different. Um, and I was like, should I ask the original ones because it's a new character? But your stuff wouldn't change. The season two stuff is actually more apt for it here. So I'm just going to start with question one. Um, so, how does Rebecca feel after season one?
Rebecca feels a little more confident that she will be able to bring her brother back to life. She's always very pessimistic, so she doesn't trust much. So though she knows she has the ability ahead, she feels like something's going to come up to mess it up, so she's very cautious.
That's fair. So, question number two. What are you looking forward to seeing slash doing during season two? This can be both for you personally or for Rebecca, what you guys might be kind of looking forward to in kind of in game, in world, all that stuff.
Well, I mean, of course, Rebecca's pretty one-minded, so she's trying to be part of the group as best she can, but I'm pretty sure once Carlos has been resurrected, she's probably gonna vamoose as fast as she possibly can and as soon as she possibly can.
Which will be an interesting dynamic to have to see kind of play out for sure.
But yeah, she's like her mindset, unless something changes it, is basically like as soon as he's there, I will do what I promised I would do, but then I'm gone. Like I'm getting the fuck out of here because I want to keep my brother as far away from whatever is happening here as possible.
And that's fair. And that'll be really interesting to see how that kind of works out through season two and stuff like that, and how that kind of transition happens, whether you have a change of heart or decide to kind of peace out. Basically, any way it kind of goes, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be
Yeah,
interesting when it comes to it because we can't really tell how it's gonna be. I mean,
very true.
you could die.
She could.
She could die. I
Uh,
mean, with your hit point total, it is definitely a possibility.
yeah, she's definitely a glass cannon and not even much of a cannon.
Yeah, yeah. Working on your cheat sheet. One of the one of the last things I have to do right now is put on like your party role and like your strengths and weaknesses and recommendations and everything there. And
She's more of a like I'm going to screw around with the people
Yeah,
rather than I'm going to blow you up.
yeah. So like, um, what I have listed right now is control slash utility. So essentially, you're playing mind games uh, with a lot of stuff, which will be interesting.
Yeah.
Um, okay, question number three. What changes have you made between season 1 and 2? Yeah, what changes to Rebecca has been made?
I would say like she's trying to get out of her shell.
Hmm.
So like she's trying to hang out with people that aren't specifically to her an integral part in bringing her brother back
Hmm.
in hopes that like she might make a friend of some sort. Who knows?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. The question was more mechanical. Um,
no,
so like,
that yeah. I truly wouldn't know. I mean, aside from the things that we talked about, as far
y-
as adding a couple of feats and whatnot,
yeah,
she's still pretty much going to be that loose cannon.
yeah. Um, yeah. We upgraded to the 2024 rules. I did do a little bit of editing to the subclass so that it fit with the new 2024 rules. Some of that means that some of the abilities have been altered and changed as I'm getting stuff put together for the beta draft of the index. There's like two abilities, I think, and they were like small kind of ribbon abilities that I just kind of like took out because they didn't really make any sense and or recovered by something else.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think for you in particular, you got a couple more abilities. You got magic, initiate, um, feat from your background. I'm gonna go to question four, and then we'll do the secret fifth question.
ooh.
Um, so this is what feat did you take over the hiatus?
I took the telepathic feat, which kind of made sense to me. I figured she already was playing around with psychic stuff and she had difficulty speaking.
Mm,
So being telepathic would make it so much easier for her to converse with the people she cares about.
mm,
Didn't really do so much to dabble in the minds of others, though it is very possible that it is something that will come come as an idea at some point in time in the future.
yeah. And what has Rebecca been doing over the hiatus? So the hiatus happened when you guys all crashed. The Wavering Tower crashed into the tundra. You've been stuck in the tundra for the past 3 months. You're not sure where you are. You don't have access to the stars, so you can't really chart your path. And essentially, there are a lot of like refugees that keep showing up to the Wavering Tower, kind of escaping the uh, the witch hunters. Um, so, with all of that being said, you've been here for the past 3 months um, at the like we'll call it the ruins of the Wavering Tower, where they basically set up camp. So, what kind of role have you taken? What kind of things have you been doing over that time?
In much of her downtime, she would be sleeping, mostly to get into the dreamscape and explore it and study it and all that jazz as much as she can. But she would be performing different missions with members of the party, whether it's the whole party or just a member here or there. But
Mm-hmm.
she likely wouldn't have been doing anything unless somebody she was familiar with
Mm-hmm.
was going as well.
Yeah, unless she has
Um,
some prodding.
yeah, but aside from that, she definitely has a soft spot for children, since especially children who uh, are missing their orphan children, I guess would be the
Mm-hmm.
more accurate term. So anything that she could do to help any orphan children, she would likely be doing too.
Yeah, I think actually that segues really well into what I have planned for tonight. So, without too much more ado, we're going to get into it now. So I'm going to leave a space here for the theme music. All right, so we're gonna start tonight a little differently. Kind of as you said, Rebecca has been sleeping a lot, or at least it looks like she's been sleeping a lot. Kind of inside your head, kind of like you've been saying, you've been in the dreamscape. So the way the dreamscape works is that every living person has what's essentially a bubble, and that encompasses your dreams. Now, when you die, your bubble bursts. Generally, if you're walking in the dreamscape and you die like outside the dreamscape, like your body dies outside the dreamscape, your soul basically kind of stays in the dreamscape and you just kind of wander for the rest of eternity in the dreamscape. Not a bad gig, traveling around. There is a way to get back to the land of the living. In fact, that is the loophole that you essentially exploited. To how you got to the main prime material plane, which is you use the dreamscape, you go to a different plane. In your case, was Terra Vacnor, and you find a way back to the prime realm, which you did. Now, this leaves your dream in a weird state. So your bubble, your dream is essentially shattered into many pieces. You have a floating rock, like an island, and around you, this big spherical dome. Basically, what you've been doing for the past 3 months is you've been meditating. You're trying to rebuild your dreams, because for you, your dreams are mostly memories. So you're trying to piece together your memories. Some of them might be true, some of them might not. Some of them might have been dreams that you had that you are mistaken for memories, but essentially that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to stick them all together. You're trying to piece it back. Like, imagine you have an egg and you crack the egg, and then you're trying to put the egg back together after it's all cracked.
Dumpty could put
essentially
back together again.
So you've made quite a bit of progress. You'd probably be a little over halfway up. Like, the top of your dream is still open. You're able to see like out into the essentially space of the dreamscape. But your dreams are starting to kind of be patchwork put together, almost like multiple mirrors. And they all seem to be held together in gold. So you're basically filling the cracks between each dream in gold. And like I said, as you look into each of these facets, you're able to see different memories, different times of a life that you are only starting to now remember. So, if you want to give me let's just give me a D6. Give me a D6 there.
You are a 3.
Okay. So you're scanning them. You're looking at them. You're kind of basically taking a break, right? When you see one of these big facets, this big section, it's going to be twice your size wide and probably 3 or 4 times your size lengthwise. So it's a pretty big section, and it shows your boat, the boat that you were on, that you were traveling the dreamscape on, and you've watched this memory quite a bit, probably more often than most of the other memories that you have, and you see what happens. You see a ship basically T-bones your ship and just kind of cuts through it like a knife through butter. Your ship crumbles apart. People are falling off. People are trying to grasp onto whatever they can. The dreamscape is covered in like golden dust. So you see people are falling into that almost like it's water, and then they're not like poofing out of existence. It's almost like they're falling beneath the dust and stuff, like they're falling with such force. Can you give me a perception check?
21.
Okay. So you're able, like I said, you've watched this snippet, this memory, many times. In fact, like, it starts replaying as you're watching it, and you're taking in every aspect of, like, every detail of the ship that crashed into your ship. And it's honestly quite easy for you to remember because of how striking that ship looks. It is a fully white ship. Like, all of the wood it doesn't even look like it's painted white. It looks like it's just naturally that white. And the ship has a black sail with some sort of silver sigil on it. It's kind of facing the opposite way, so you can only kind of see like the glistening of it, but you can't actually see what the design is. But you know it's a white ship, black sails, silver sigil. Noticing that you are continuing to watch this probably for hours, there's a little wisp that flies kind of in front of your view. With your true sight, you look at this wisp and you're able to see that it is Kalos. So it's almost like Kalos, but maybe like 3 inches tall. It can't speak, but it is it's almost like it's looking at you, worried, trying to draw your attention from the facet that you're watching.
I go close to it with it and try not to disturb it in any way and call out, "Ah! Los, Los."
Kalos kind of looks at you, has almost like a blank expression on his face, and you see the wisp. It flutters for a second. You're kind of used to this, but it still kind of makes your possibly non-existent heart skip a little bit every time it happens because it looks like he's starting to fade away.
I try to like cup it in my, like, try to make my wings as bally as like a hand could, and try to like cup it between the two hands, try to like stop any kind of outside force from go away.
So you're scrambling. Can you give me a sleight of hand?
9.
9. Okay, so you kind of scrambled to do that, and in scrambling to do that, at the end of last season, there was a deck of cards, and you pulled a card from that deck. You haven't really thought about that card for the past like 2.5 months. But in your kind of mad dash and kind of way trying to like scatter around to protect Kalos from the non-existent wind, you see it just kind of floats down like a leaf, and it lands face up on the ground, and it's almost like it's just looking straight at you.
What do I do?
So Kalos looks down at the card in response to you saying, "What should you do?"
I will get on my knees in front of the card and pick it up.
Okay. You pick it up, and as you pick it up, you just kind of see like as you like turn it in your hand again, just using the word "see" here, we can't really see. But you kind of sense it's almost like it has a deeper depth to it than it's letting on. It seems to be have some kind of magical properties, but you're gonna have to try to find a way to use it.
She is going to hold it in her left hand and try to reach into it with the right.
Okay.
Like into the picture, like it's a window.
Okay. Roll me a sleight of hand.
16 this time.
16. Okay, you're not quite sure if it's gonna work, so you're going very slowly with it, and you touch the card, and you're met with the card, like you know how the card feels.
Okay.
But you push a little bit, and it's almost like kind of opening a cupboard or something like that. You push, and the card seems to give without physically moving in your hand. And as you place your hand in, you feel something. You feel something that you can't sense. You grab it, and you pull it out, and it's a key. And as you pull the key out, the card disappears.
Oh, okay. I am going to hold the key really, really tightly in my hand and see if the Kalos wisp is still floating around.
Roll a perception check.
4.
4. You're looking around for a good a good 2 or 3 minutes until you realize you're looking straight forward and you can't see Kalos. You have no idea where Kalos went. You're freaking out. In your freaking out, you turn around. Kalos is behind you.
Jesus.
Kalos is behind you, and you see that Kalos is looking. There seems to be a hut about 30 feet. You can basically just make it out with your true sight. Actually, I was saying in the dreamscape, you can actually see a little bit more. Because you're using your memories, you can kind of, your sight's a little bit more improved here. But you see a hut with a chimney that has billowing smoke, and that hut was not there 5 minutes ago.
Well, when in Rome, or when in the dreamscape, she will reach out her index feather to Carlos, who she hopes will kind of grasp it in some weird way, and then she will walk hand in hand with him towards the hut, if that is something that can happen.
Okay, so you reach your hand out, and he kind of mimes, kind of pulling on it, and then kind of flies over to the house. You don't feel anything on your fingers, but you just kind of like see that, like it's like you can see he's trying to pull you like a kid does.
Yeah.
And he goes to the hut, and he just like blips through the door.
Is this like a...
It's like a wooden door.
Well, I will see if I can pass through like Carlos did.
So you walk up to the door. You try to walk through it, and it is a solid door. You cannot walk through it.
All right, so I am going to... Is there a doorknob or anything?
There seems to be a lock.
Of course there is. She is obviously going to take the key that she just got, and she is going to place it into the lock and give it a twist.
Okay, places into lock. She turns it, and as she turns it, it clicks, and the door just kind of slides open.
All right, I guess here we go. She will close her empty eyes and then take the first step in before she opens her empty eyes.
So she walks in, and the room is in a haze. Seems like a thick, kind of almost smoke to it. So yeah, so the room has a dense, almost thick fog, haze inside. It's pretty quaint. It is pretty small. There seems to be a lot of like bottles and like vials of stuff around, and there seems to be someone sitting at a table just like about 10-15 feet into the hut. So they look up at you, and you see something that seems familiar. Like they stand to meet you, and they look almost not like a mirror image, but like a twisted mirror image. So they have a large beak. They look raven-esque. They don't have as many feathers, but they do have these very long claws. They're very tall and very, very spindly. And they reach out their kind of long nailed clawed hands. They're like, come closer, come closer. You summoned me here.
Ah.
Car to you.
She will go deeper in, but she's going to veer against the wall as opposed to going directly to this person, keeping her quote-unquote eyes on them at all times.
Okay. They kind of watch you with what seems like a smile behind their beak. They give you almost like a curtsy, and they sit down. And they kind of say, "Once ready to begin, you can take a seat, my friend."
Continuing to circle around, she will oblige, but take a seat on the far end of the table.
Okay. So As you sit down, you kind of notice the details of the table. It seems to be intricately carved. It has a number of like things, vines and flowers and stuff sketched into it. More strikingly, you see a deck of cards.
Why so many decks of cards? I've got a deck myself, you know. I will nod my beak towards the cards. Caw? Question mark.
As you like kind of like lift your hand up to point to them, she places her hand on top of the cards and just like lifts one finger. It's like, not yet, not yet. Give me your name, child.
Rebecaw.
Okay.
Who are you?
Oh, I go by many names through the ages. But to you, I am the Kikimora.
I'll Kikimora your ass later. What want?
Oh, no, I want for naught, my child. I'm here for your wants. I give you, let's call them 3 wishes. You see, as a Kikimora, should your heart be true, I am here to guard you. Should your heart be vile, I am here to punish. So, you must ask yourself a question. Are you good or are you vile? With that, go for it.
You go ahead.
Nope, you can go for it.
She's strongly contemplating because she feels torn in both ways. She feels that she is a good person, but she did vile things, which caused her to lose her mother and her brother to die. And so she will basically bow her head and be like, both.
As you say both, you see the Kikimora just kind of, they ease their hand off the deck of cards and they lean back and they say, you carry a lot of guilt. Now, having guilt, knowing that you may have done vile things and you feel bad about it, that is a sign of a good heart. Now, this is free. This is not going to be part of your reading. She says, and she kind of like spindles her fingers over the cards. She's like, just remember, it's all about the journey. It's always be working towards your goal. Even if you never reach it, you must be working towards it. If you try to be good, and I believe you can, then you shall be protected. But should you turn vile for vile's sake, should you follow the path of greed and selfishness, know that others like me, may be the ones behind your punishment. This is not a threat. This is advice. This is me giving you something to work. It's a gray world. But I see good in you. I see specks of light. I think that is something that you should and will eventually recapture. Now, for your read, this is the transaction from the card. You drew the card, you summoned me, I'm here. I'm going to answer 3 questions that you can ask. 1 about your past, 1 about your present, and 1 about your future. In that exact order. Understand?
Okay.
So, and she takes the cards and just kind of spreads them out over the table. So, your question for your past. What do you ask?
She is not sure how to put it in words that she can speak. So she's gonna reach out telepathically for the first time against somebody she's not familiar with and be like, who or am I truly responsible for what happened to my mom and brother?
So, as you ask the question, you see a card in the deck starts to light up, and it just kind of floats up. All right, so you flip up the first card, and it looks odd. It doesn't have a trim. It doesn't even have a name. You look at it, and it's almost like you're watching something happen, like you're watching a memory, and you're almost like totally engrossed in it, and you're back on the deck of the ship. You're with your mother and your brother Carlos. You are passengers, which is not uncommon. It is an exploratory vessel, so you're just kind of exploring. You're not quite sure how long you guys have been traveling the dreamscape or where you kind of started, but you don't have any bags with you. You don't have anything you're trying to transport. You're just kind of going with the flow. And it starts, like, you kind of look around and you see that you're kind of getting close to a darkened kind of area of the dreamscape, and the captain's trying to kind of move it away. As you look at it, you just kind of keep looking at the darkened area, and one of the things with the dreamscape is the more you focus on something, it's almost like the closer it gets. And you're able to see it has to be infinitely far away, but it seems to span in every direction infinitely. And you weren't able to really see it even minutes ago. But you see a wall. This is a large wall. You're not quite sure how far it is away, but it seems like as this, like I said, with the dreamscape, you're kind of on golden sand. As it gets closer to that wall, you see that sand loses its luster and becomes dark. Eventually, you're able to kind of pull yourself away from it. You kind of hear whispering in your ears. You can't really make out what it says. But you're very engrossed by the wall. And as you turn around, you see the captain was able to kind of turn the boat and is moving in another direction. Your mother just places her hand on your shoulder. She's like, "Becca, are you okay? Are you all right?"
No.
"Oh, it's okay, child. Come here." And she like holds you close, so she brings you in for a hug. And she looks at you. She's like, "We are traveling the dreamscape. There are going to be things that might seem frightening, but you're safe here. Everything's going to be okay. As long as we stick together, as long as you look after your little brother, everything's going to be A-okay, alright?"
Okay.
And you kind of embrace her, and you look like starboard, and you see another boat, which wasn't uncommon. You would see boats other times, but you see this boat with the black sail, with the silver sigil and the white wood, and it looks like a ghost. It very much looks like a ghost ship. Can you roll me a perception check? this is like from a different angle, so you might actually be able to make out what is going on the flag.
4.
4?
Yeah.
Okay, it's flapping too much. You can't quite see it. But you see that the boat is deliberately coming straight towards you. It has plenty of time to move, but you guys don't have enough time to move out of its way. And it seems to be approaching any fast. Your mother sees this, and she grabs you and your brother. Everybody's kind of starting to panic now, and one thing about the dreamscape is when something becomes dangerous, you're able to see it in much more focus. So you're getting like everything's being hyper detailed. You're able to see every tiny grain of like dust around you. You're able to see every fine little feather on your mother's arms, and she just kind of holds you closer. She's like, "Come to the boat," and you see she's trying to move you to a lifeboat on the other side. And as you start to hear the creaking of the boat, like you see she's kind of pulled or pushed. You guys are in the lifeboat. She's kind of pushed and is like kind of laying on top of you almost as the boat is lowered, and it hits the golden dust of the dreamscape with a thud, and you kind of take a second, and you're there. She's still on top, and the ship is continuing to move through, and as it continues to move through, you swear to God you can hear some laughter. You hear laughter coming from that ship, like sinister laughter. And you hear screams and voices, not just from your ship, but from their ship as well. They seem to be coming from below the deck. And it's cutting through, and you're kind of caught in the wake. It takes your mother a minute, but she's able to kind of sit up there, and you are alive. You are safe. You are there. You just kind of float, and you're not sure how long you've been floating. Like it could be, roll me an insight.
Natural 1.
You could have been there for 100 years. You're not quite sure. You could have been there for 10 minutes. You are not sure at all, and you're not quite sure when it happens. But in the dreamscape, you don't need to eat. You don't need to drink. You're just kind of there. You're kind of alive, but you can be hurt. Eventually, your mother she just kind of stops talking, and then she stops moving. And you're not quite sure how it happened. After a little bit, your brother stops talking, and he stops moving. And then you're drifting. And then you're the last one to stop talking. It's almost like your voice is taken from you. And then you stop moving. And the next thing you remember, you're like not even laying, you're like buried in the sand. And you're in Terravacnor. Somehow alive in some sort of way. And Kalos's body is next to you. Your mother's corpse is nowhere near. You have no idea where your mother's corpse would be. Your brother's is right next to you. There's no boat. It is just you and your brother's body. And as you see that, everything kind of fades back into reality, and you're back in the hut. So the Kikimora looks at you and says, So does that answer your question, child?
It raises more.
But you see that it was not your fault.
No.
You were able to.
Now I want revenge.
She, the Kikimora looks at you in silence and then holds their hand over the cards. Now you can ask a question about your present, about your right now.
My right now. What is my role in this war?
Interesting. And you see she holds her hand, another card kind of lights up and then just kind of, just like the other one, floats up and you look at it and you're transported. You're not quite sure where. It could be inside the lantern, like it could be where you were meditating. But you're not quite sure. It looks uncanny. And you're transported there, and you can see a night sky. You can see stars, which you haven't been able to see stars for the past 2.5 months. You have not been able to see the stars, but you're able to see stars right now. I mean, I guess you've never been able to see stars because you don't have eyes, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And you see that there is a being before you, maybe a good 40 feet away. They seem to have their back turned to you. Body shape-wise, they look similar to the Kikimora. What would you like to do?
I will approach them, place my hand on their shoulder, and turn them to face me.
Alright, so you walk over and you place your hand on them, and as you walk closer, it's almost like they keep getting larger. By the time you get there, you put your hand on them, you're almost touching the small of their back. And as they turn around, they are not the Kikimora. They are huge. They don't seem to be stopping their growth. They have large raven-esque wings that unfurl as they turn around. I say raven-esque, it's not. It's, you take a minute and you soak it in, and this being looks like a vulture. They have that tuft of hair around their neck, and they have a large kind of curved bill, and it looks like their skin over their head and neck has been like pulled very gaunt. Like you can see that there's skin there, but it's pulled very taut over its skeleton, its skull, and it doesn't have any eyes. Something you two have in common. And it looks at you and it says, "You have escaped me for long enough, Rebecca."
I don't know who you are, and I'm gonna turn and run.
You turn and you try to run, and you like look back to kind of see where they are, and you have not moved. Like you seem to you're running, but you're not you're not putting any distance between the two of you. I am death. You have forsaken me, but I must admit, I have enjoyed this challenge. I have finally found you.
Go away, go away, go away, go away, go away.
Don't worry. And you see as he's talking, the wisp of Kalos gets in between you two. And he looks at it. And he just kind of cups the wisp in his hand. He's like, "So you wish to bring another abomination back to life? You wish to let this one elude my grasp as well.
He didn't deserve to die.
Many people don't deserve to die.
I
But
won't
they
let him.
do.
I won't let him. And she's going to continue to run and like aim backwards and cast Phantasmal Force. Like, go away! Run.
So I gotta look at what Phantasmal Force does. It tries to make like a nightmare, right? Intelligence saving throw. You try to cast something. You cast Phantasmal Force, and you're trying to pull something from that creature's mind to make something that's afraid of. And you see it like try to like create something. It's almost like a blob, and then it just kind of starts to melt. Can you roll me a charisma saving throw?
I certainly can fail at one for sure. Oh, that rolled right off the table. No, that's not too bad. 30-20.
30-20. You're able to not be frightened of it, but essentially the spell was turned. Like it was turned against you and altered.
I'm gonna...
You wish to frighten death. You're either incredibly courageous or incredibly stupid.
How about incredibly scared? And continue. Leave me alone. I don't deserve this. My brother doesn't deserve this. Go away.
I tell you what, I'll leave you alone. And it's almost like he takes Kalos and he brings Kalos up to his beak, and he just kind of like blows like a gust of wind, and it makes Kalos kind of move over towards you, and like you feel the wind hit you, and it feels bad. Like you feel on edge. He looks at me. He holds up one finger. He's like, "You have 1 year. If you do not find a suitable host for that soul, both of your souls become mine. But you're going to have to find 2 souls, one for each of you, to take your place. 2 souls that don't deserve to die."
She kind of stumbles in her running in place, falls to her knees, just like crumbles.
But I'm not done. You see, I'm not going to make it easy for you. For the next year, you cannot and will not kill anyone. You must give us 2 souls, but you cannot lift a finger to kill them. And as he laughs, he just looms over you, and he's like, "I hope you find these terms acceptable.
I don't.
I shall be back in 1 year to reap your soul." And he almost like crashes upon you. And as he does, this is like a black smoke in your back in the Kikimora's hut. And she's sitting there with like a cup of tea. And she looks over and she says, Was that insightful enough for you?
That sucked.
It always does. You know, you've done an impressive thing.
Do I have to?
We'll give you another piece of free advice, child. Another piece. What you have done, the impossible, you've cheated death. You died in the real world, and you came here and you were able to live amongst the dream world, the dreamscape. You were then able to find your way into Terravacnor, and through Terravacnor you're able to come out the other side. Now I'll give you some insight here. You essentially right now, you are a paradox. Don't tell people how you came here, because if word got out, more people would try. And that could become disastrous. You could see more nefarious souls trying to come back into the realm proper, exploiting the same loopholes that you did. You live in a realm now where you have a body, but your physical body, your original body, is buried somewhere in the same land you are, in the same realm.
I'm not even me.
Now, you have one more question. A question about your future.
I don't want to. 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 Do I have to?
There are many things that you can ask about. I have the answer to all.
But the answer to all means nothing. Do I just ask what I want to ask? Do because I don't want to know the answer. Or do I just... Oh, okay. Do I succeed?
She holds her hand over the cards, and another card comes up. And again, you're teleported, but this time you're not quite sure where you are. You're standing on like a castle rampart. It is the middle of the day. There are soldiers running all towards you, like around you, past you. You seem to be in like very fine robes. And you look and you see that there is a crack in the sky. There's like demons that are coming through this crack in the sky. And there's a valiant fight. And you're almost not in control of your body. You're like slinging spells and stuff like that. And you hear familiar voices, and you know that they're the voices of your friends, and they're charging, and all you hear is "For Crescentia!" and they're running off, and you feel a tug at your sleeve, and you turn around, and you white out. Like you're blinded by something. I mean, I know you're already technically blinded, but you turn around and see it. You can't it blinds all of your senses, and you're right back in the room. So she the Kikimora looks at you and says, "I know it probably wasn't the best answer for you, but the future is the most in flux. It's not quite solid. But I fear that big things were going to happen. You at least know you survived? Possibly? Who knows?"
I didn't like that. It was
ambiguous.
Too incomplete. Too abruptly incomplete.
Now, I'm going to give you something here. Something to help you along the way.
And it's not something to remember you by.
Hurtful. She reaches under the table and she pulls out a box and she slides it across. And unclasps it. She's like, Open it. It's yours. Sadly, I'm sad to disappoint you, but it is something to remember me by.
Really not. You, it's me.
So, are you gonna open
I'll
up the box?
cringe down and like reach out and just with a quick flick of my fingers, flick open the cover.
Alright, so you flick it open, and it is an amulet. It's a rather large amulet. It seems to have an almost like angelic looking being holding a very large crystal, almost like embracing it. And as you open it, you see Kalos comes closer to it, and Kalos places his hands upon the crystal, and he phases into it. And as he phases into it, you see that the crystal shines brighter. Like it actually has a shine, like an internal shine to it now. And are you gonna take it and put it on or anything?
Before I do, I will take it, but not before I put it on. Be like, what does this mean? Is he in there now?
Why don't you put it on and find the answer out for yourself? And you sense that the Kikimora is smiling at you.
I will timidly put it on.
So you put it on. As you put it on, and like the amulet lays on your chest, you feel warmth right where it like touches your body, like it's like you're holding something close. Now, I want you to know this is the amulet of the Kikimora. Again, like I said, sorry to disappoint. It's something to remind you of me. Should you follow the good in your heart, should you do good things, should you help the people around you, should you embrace the people around you, it will work to protect you. Should you go down a path of evil and vileness, one I don't think Carlos would approve of, then the amulet will work to punish you. Now, Carlos will be safe either way, but your connection to him might falter should you follow the wrong path. Now, would you like some tea?
I want to go home. I do have one last question. If you would so entertain me.
Sure.
Who was captaining that ship? The white ship with the black sails. Who was its captain?
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I cannot tell you the answer to that question because I do not know myself. But I will say this. The path that you are on now, the path that you are taking, and the path that you must follow will lead you to that ship. That I promise you.
What was I planning to do? Please send me home. I need to go to sleep.
As you wish. And like you feel like your eyes go dark and you wake up and you are back in the lantern. Being where you are in the lantern, it hasn't grown at all the past 2.5 months, but it does seem to kind of be mirroring the biome outside, and it is snowing. And you look down, and you are still wearing the amulet, and you are still able to feel and see Kalos's soul within the amulet. So
I need to go see Goon and get a drink. and I will put on a cloak of some sort covering the amulet and walk out of my room.
And that's where we will end this for today. And yeah,
Oh, well, that was a roller coaster.
that's always the point.
Do do the Leafs ever win the playoffs? I don't know. We all know the answer to that already. It's big no.